Hi guys, hold on, just bear with me a minute. I might have to get something else to prop this up with. Maybe not. Okay. Hi guys, how you doing today? Happy Sunday. I am here to read our daily meditations. Thank you for joining me today. I just got home from work not too long ago. And I'm really tired. I don't feel all that well. I only worked for like 3 or 4 hours today, and I just couldn't do it. So I just had lunch, and I'm getting ready to go upstairs and lay down for the rest of the day. But before I did that, I wanted to get these readings out to you, because once I go upstairs and get in my bed, who knows? You guys might not get them today. So with that being said, let's take out our Just for Today by Narcotics Anonymous. Excuse me, guys. Let's turn to October 10th. Consequences. Lovely. Before we got clean, most of our actions were guided by impulse. Today, we are not locked into this type of thinking. Ever been tempted to do something even when you knew the results would be disastrous? Ever thought about how much it was going to hurt to do what you were tempted to do and then proceeded to do it anyway? It is said that there are consequences to every action. Before we got clean, many of us simply didn't believe this. But now we know exactly what it means. When we act, we know there will be consequences to pay. No longer can we decide to do something in ignorance when we know full well that we won't like the price we'll have to pay. There is a prize and a price. It's okay to act despite the consequences if we're willing to pay the price, but there is always one to pay. Just for today, I will think about the consequences of my actions before I take them. That is, although it's so very short, it hits hard, especially for me. I am a very impulsive person by nature. Has nothing to do with drugs, recovery, none of that. I've always been impulsive. I don't want to say I'll always be impulsive, but because we're working on that, and hopefully I won't be. And I see a lot of that in my son. And it's hard because I'm like, dude, like being that I'm older now, it's a lot different, a lot easier to catch myself. But when I was younger, forget about it. I didn't care. And it says in that reading, like, how many times did we do something knowing the price we were going to have to pay and we did it anyway? That was me. That was me. 100%. I didn't give a shit. I'm like, I'll worry about it later. I'll be all right. That ain't going to happen to me. Those are my famous words. And, yeah, almost every single time I had to eat them words. And now that my son is older, he's 22, I see the same patterns in him. And, oh, my gosh. Here's me. I'm like the people who were like to me, I'm like that to him. And I know this shit running through his head is the same shit that was running through my head. Like, whatever. I know what I'm doing. Um, and you know what? Sometimes we just have to learn by our actions. We just have to learn by our consequences. And that is the only way I learned. I didn't think anybody knew what they were talking about. I knew all. So that reading really brings me back to my younger years when I was just massively impulsive and didn't give a shit about any kind of consequences. I didn't care. Of course, until they arose. Then I gave a full fuck. But I didn't think they were going to happen to me. I didn't think anybody knew what they were talking about. I wish my mom was around for this reading, because she would be like, oh, that reading was for you. So anyway, guys, how do you feel about that reading? Let me know down below. Are you impulsive? Is that not a quality you carry? Let me know. Let's talk about it. While you are thinking and typing about that one, we are going to jump into The Language of Letting Go by Melanie Beatty. These are daily meditations for codependence. All right, guys, let's jump over to October 10th. Where are we? Okay. Here we go. October 10th. Payoffs from destructive relationships. Sometimes it helps to understand that we may be receiving a payoff from relationships that cause us distress. The relationship may be feeding into our helplessness or our martyr role. Maybe the relationship feeds our need to be needed, enhancing our self-esteem by allowing us to feel in control or morally superior to the other person. Some of us feel alleviated from financial or other kinds of responsibility by staying in a particular relationship. My father sexually abused me when I was a child, said one woman. I went on to spend the next 20 years blackmailing him emotionally and financially on this. I could get money from him whenever I wanted, and I never had to take financial responsibility for myself. Realizing that we may have gotten a codependent payoff from a relationship is not a cause for shame. It means we're searching out the blocks in ourselves that may be stopping our growth. We can take responsibility for the part we may have played in keeping ourselves victimized. When we are willing to look honestly and fearlessly at the payoff and let it go, we will find the healing that we've been seeking. We also will be ready to receive the positive, healthy payoffs available in relationships, the payoffs we really want and need. Today, I will be open to looking at the payoffs I might have received from staying in unhealthy relationships or from keeping destructive systems operating. I will become ready to let go of my need to stay in unhealthy systems. I am ready to face myself. That's a huge one for me. Once I started doing work on myself, I started looking at patterns in my life and in my relationships, and I noticed that a major pattern in my relationships is that I always have to be in a relationship where I am superior to them. It makes me sound shitty, but it was being done subconsciously, I think. It's just where I felt comfortable. And I think it's because an aspect of me does not feel worthy to be with someone who is my equal or is inferior to me. And I don't know why. Maybe it's father issues, daddy issues. I have a lot of trauma surrounding my relationship with my father. And that's the only thing I could think of. I really haven't started a whole lot of work surrounding that. I just noticed that. Of course, I've had men interested in me that had nicer things than me and more money and a higher status, and it was very hard for me to be in those relationships. It made me feel less than. It made me feel like he was always looking down on me, or I don't know. I can't even pinpoint it. I'm just not comfortable being with somebody who is my equal or inferior to me. Inferior? Superior. Superior, right? Inferior is lower than. Superior is higher than, right? I don't know. This is because I'm sitting here trying to really understand why I'm so uncomfortable in that kind of situation. And I'm not using the right words. I'm uncomfortable being in a relationship with somebody that I feel is better than me in a certain area of their life. That's what I'm trying to say. I've always been with people who, for the most part, the only one that I could think of was my ex-husband. He was pretty much my equal. We both worked, we both had cars, we both could contribute to the relationship, but that was like it. Any other relationship that I was in was always with somebody who needed me, and it was always with somebody who, like, I was, excuse me, guys, I'm really not feeling well, who I was superior to. I was smarter than them. I could teach them things, show them new ways of life. I don't know you know what? And like thinking about this just hit me as well. Through life growing up, even when I was a small child, like my mother used to joke about this, but I always had to be like in charge, the boss. Like from when my group of friends, I was always like the teacher and they were the students. Like always, my whole life, I always had to feel that way. And obviously now that I'm looking into doing work on myself, it's obvious that it's because of an insecurity somewhere in me. Um, and I need to work on that. I need to work on that. So, but yeah, I really resonated with that reading. And you know what, guys? That's why I'm not ready for a relationship right now. I'm not ready because I'm still looking at my shadows, my insecurities, my wrongs, and my next relationship, I want it to be such a powerful, genuine, just positive connection, unbreakable connection. And I'm trying to smooth out all my bullshit before I decide that I want to date again. So yeah, wow, that reading really made me think. Can anybody else relate? I'd like to know. Or are you like the opposite? Do you like being with people who are superior to you? Or, I mean, let me know. I am so fascinated with human behavior and all these kind of things. I would love to know. Let's start a conversation down below. I'm really trying to grow my channel. I know it's probably going to take a while. Like I'm just starting out. But I'm so excited to get like a little group together, a little community where we come every day and we hear these readings and we build each other up and support